Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we've got a video about 20 plus add-ons that I personally use and would recommend for World of Warcraft. Remember that if you liked the video and you want to see more like this, be sure to leave a like on the video, get subscribed, and hit that little bell to see future videos. Each of these add-ons serve different purposes and, because of that, are not inherently dependent on each other, save from a few that specifically require one another, although I will note when that is. There will be 4 sections to the video with timestamps on screen now. User interface, which includes exactly what it sounds like, which is add-ons revolving around your UI and how you interact with the game. Collection, which includes mounts, pets, and transmog collection. Quality of life, which is about add-ons which just make the game generally better or otherwise more enjoyable or convenient. And last, money making, which I personally am not very well versed in, but is a section with a couple add-ons used to help make money. Remember that links to all the add-ons I featured in this video will be in the description down below. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the video. The first section is user interface. The first add-on in this section is Experiencer. Experiencer is an add-on that I use to track primarily my in-game experience, but also honor level, reputation, and artifact power. I will say this add-on doesn't look too great unless you are using some add-on or add-ons to change your UI massively, such as Bartender or LUI, which is what I use. As you'll see here, it initially creates a single bar at the bottom of the screen showing just your experience. You can right-click the bar and options will show. You can choose to move the bar to the top if you want by going into the frame options and clicking anchor to top under frame anchor, assuming that's your cup of tea. But otherwise, I like to go under sections and check split into 3. Then configure it so that reputation is on the left, artifact level is on the right, and the experience bar is in the center, or the honor level bar if you're 110. I like to go into the settings for all 3 bars and set them to show the current and max of their values. I also like to go into the settings for the experience bar and turn off all the settings except show gain experience. My reason for this is another add-on I will talk about later. You can choose to leave the setting on. I turn on all Quest XP visualizer settings though. After that is a small add-on called HideChatButton. This add-on adds a small button in the bottom left of your screen which allows you to hide or show your chat box. I know you can make macros for this, but given my experience, I like to avoid using macros where I can. In addition to that, this frees up whatever button said macro would use. Following the HideChatButton add-on, we have OPie. And before you make any assumptions, no, it's not what it sounds like, even a little bit. This add-on lets you set up basically extra action bars in addition to your regular one that can be accessed by pressing a key combination and mousing over the ability. You'll see in the video I have one key combination that brings up all my shapeshifts for my druid, and I have another key combination that opens up my professions. Depending on how you set up your UI with action bars, if you utilize a lot of action bars as opposed to a more minimalist approach, you may not need this honestly. I personally like this for things I'd like to do more quickly, but I don't want to allocate a regular button for. You'll want to look more into this add-on if you really want to utilize its potential, but to set up a simple, basic ring, you'd want to first type /opie into the chat, then go to a custom ring section under OPie. Then click on New Ring, select Empty Ring, and give it a good name. I'll say Example Ring for this example. Give it a decent binding that makes sense for it. Then select which character or characters have this available to them. After that, click the plus button for Add a New Slice. Find the action you'd like to bind to this ring, whether it be an ability, an item, or a mount, or what have you. When you find it, double-click it. I'm adding 2 here, Rockfeather Skyhorn Kite and Emerald Winds. I'm going to set the keybind to something a little more manageable than Alt-Shift-P, and then test it out. Next in UI is TinyInspect. The core point of this add-on is to show item levels for items and make it a lot easier to sift through items you have and or items that you see in the game, as well as quickly gauge other players' item levels. You'll note when I open my character sheet, it shows my item level in the top here as well as the item levels of all my other items below that. You'll also note it shows each item's relics, critical strike gems or whatever inferior gem you find yourself using, and enchants. Interestingly enough, it will also tell you where you could have an enchant, gem, or relic but you don't have one. Another nice thing about this add-on is that it also does the exact same thing for other players. So you'll see I can just inspect another player and all the same information will show for them. The last really interesting thing about this add-on is that when you mouse over players and party members, it will show you in the tooltip 2 numbers for their item level. Their overall item level as well as their weapon's item level in parentheses. After that is the add-on XToLevel. XToLevel is all about telling you how many of what you have before you level. I personally prefer using this add-on for predictions like that as opposed to Experiencer. You can have it track your kills, quests, dungeons, battlegrounds, bonus objectives, gathering, pet battles, and archaeology. Whenever you get one of these things, the timer prediction will update and you can actually mouse over any of the XP types to see how much XP you are getting on average in that action. Like for instance, how much XP you are getting on average per mob killed, or how much XP you are getting on average per quest completed. Our last add-on, and perhaps the most important in the UI section, at least in my opinion, is LUI. This is a UI overhaul add-on which takes a somewhat artistic but still elegant approach to the way your UI can look. This add-on has some very in-depth customization of everything you can see on screen now. I'm definitely not going to go over that here, as that's a whole video on its own. I do intend to make a video later on which talks about this add-on and how to set it up like I have it, so be sure to get subscribed if you'd like to see that in the future. I'm still tweaking things here and there to work as open-endedly as I can. Our second section is Collection, and the first add-on in this section is Can I Mog It? What this add-on does is it shows you whether or not you have an appearance that an item offers. When you mouse over an item that does not have an appearance, such as a ring, trinket, or a necklace, the add-on won't change the tooltip. But for other items, ones that have appearances, an icon will be shown near the bottom with text. The different icons and text that will show are as follows. A check mark if you have learned it. A check mark with a circle around it if you have learned it from a different item with the same appearance. A cross if you are able to learn it but have not yet. A half-filled star if you are unable to learn it on this character's class. For instance, if you have a plate item on a cloth wearer. A minus inside a green box if you cannot learn the appearance, do not have said appearance, and that item is soulbound. The second add-on in this section, related to the first, is TransmogTokens. This is a short and sweet add-on that tells you about the appearances you can learn from certain token items. For instance, the Unsullied gear from Legion will tell you if you can learn appearances from it or not. This Unsullied mail girdle shows that it can be exchanged for one appearance that I need. It's also worth noting that this add-on shows you when you have a currency that can be redeemed for an appearance as well. After TransmogTokens is the Rarity add-on. What this add-on does is help you farm mounts or battle pets in dungeons and raids where you don't have a guaranteed chance of the items dropping. For instance, shown now you can see in the tooltip I have 9 of 100 estimated attempts for Invincible's Reigns, and 8 of 10 estimated attempts for both the Drudge Remains and the Call of the Frozen Blade. This also tracks items collected for things bought by currencies, such as Fangirlaw Claws and Tanan Jungle. The last add-on in this section is the PetJournal Enhanced add-on. This add-on will, like it suggests, enhance your pet journal. In your pet journal pane, not only does it show the usual total pets you own, but it also shows the unique pets owned. It now also shows the rarity of each pet by the color of the pet type. It also shows the specific breed of each pet that you have, as you can see here with a P/S and P/B and H/H. Accompanying the breeds is an icon as well. I personally don't battle pets too much, I more so enjoy collecting them, so I'm not very sure what each breed is besides like S meaning speed, P meaning power, and H meaning health. In addition to this, the add-on introduces more advanced sorting methods as you can see now. Up next is the Quality of Life section. First here is Deadly Boss Mods, also known as DBM. I'm not going to go too much into detail about this add-on. This is just to recommend it to new players as well as a friendly reminder to any returning players who are setting up add-ons again. The idea of it though is basically to alert you of certain things happening in raids or dungeons, such as say when a boss is using an ability that affects a certain area, the game will tell you to move. Or when you need to get away from a boss or get close to the boss, the add-on will tell you to do that. There's more to it than that, but that's the gist of it at face value for players newer to raiding or non-normal dungeons. It makes raiding in dungeons a lot easier, and most guilds who are more serious with raiding tend to require that add-on, and if not that one, then Bigwigs, which has similar features. After that, we have TomTom, also a very common one for people to have. This add-on gives you what is known as a crazy arrow, which will point to waypoints you can set in the game. The waypoints can be set by you or by other means, such as when you die, a point is located at your corpse. The arrow points you to and guides you to whatever waypoints you have had set for yourself. After that is a super simple one called Links in Chat. It does exactly what it sounds like. It makes it so that you can click links in chat and then you can copy and paste the links into your web browser from there. Moving on, we have Skada damage meters. Or well, any damage meter will do. By downloads, Recount is the most popular of this type of add-on, but the one I use is in second place, and that's Skada. I've heard that Skada is more accurate than Recount. I don't personally see a significant enough discrepancy between the two to justify making a decision based on that, unless you're really being recommended to one over the other by a friend. There's also others out there, such as Details, which has been gaining some traction, as well as Numeration. I haven't used either of those two at all, so I couldn't make a recommendation one way or the other about either. Basically, use whichever one you want. After you've gotten your damage meter add-on, we've got a couple of add-ons that go together. The first is just required add-on for the next, known as Grail. That one is basically an add-on to serve quest data to other add-ons, which is useful because the next add-on I recommend uses it. That add-on is Holy. What this add-on does is add exclamation points to your map to show you where you have quests that you have not yet complete. In Legion, without any add-ons, this is done automatically on main quests, but it's not done on secondary quests. With the add-on, not only is it done for the secondary quests, but it also shows you where quests are on lower level characters. Furthermore, when you open up the add-ons window via typing /holy, then you should be able to see different information about the quest you've selected. Particularly, you'll note in the tooltips it shows you the reputation you gain from completing the quests, as well as even the rewards from the quests. Moving on from the Holy and Grail add-ons, our next add-on is Spy. This is an add-on which shows an expanding list on your screen of all the players you've seen which are hostile to you. This will track players of the opposite faction that are marked PvP, as well as your opponent during a duel. It also makes a unique sound whenever an enemy it has detected goes into or out of stealth. It's useful for battlegrounds as well as duels, but my biggest use for it is the fact that I'm on a PvP server. Sometimes when I'm leveling an alt, someone likes to bring their 110 over to me to put a temporary end to that. Spy helps me put a temporary end to them. Moving on from that rather vindictive note, we have HandyNotes. Similar to DBM or TomTom, this is an add-on which many people know about. This add-on, as well as complementary add-ons such as HandyNotes Argus, HandyNotes Legion, and HandyNotes Draenor, all do one thing. They help you to keep notes on certain locations in the game. Similar to how TomTom works, these place points on your map. The main difference is that HandyNotes points are usually permanent and have icons generally denoting what they are. They also have a description of what they are as well. The last add-on in this section is Instance Portals. In Legion, the instances have little blue circles over top of their entrances on the map, and when you mouse over them, their names are shown at the top. This add-on does that, but for all the instances in the game. Wrapping that up, our last section is money making. This section only consists of one add-on and one suite of add-ons, but it has helped me a decent bit. The first add-on is Auctionator. For regular money making auctions, like from Transmog, pets, trade skills, or other things farmed like that, this add-on kind of falls flat in its usefulness when other add-ons are present, at least in the selling aspect. But I find it useful for individual items which people may not usually buy or even sell, as well as it's useful for buying. For the main functionality, it adds two tabs to the auction house, one labeled Buy and another labeled Sell. As you can see now, dragging an item to the top box on the Sell tab will automatically search the auction house and put the auction's buyout at the lowest price out there. This is very useful for items which are not something you'd regularly come across but may sell quickly, or items that don't have a very stable price. It's very much not useful, however, for items which have variants, such as Legion items being of the Quickblade, of the Peerless, of this, or of that, or whatever else have you. This is because the scans this add-on does are based on the exact name of the item, rather than taking the base name of the item. Trade Skill Master, also known as TSM, however, is a suite of add-ons which does several things for making money very effectively. By itself, TSM does not really do anything. With additional modules, however, it can do a whole lot. While I'm about to go over several modules, I won't go into much in-depth detail about these add-ons, as that's a little outside the scope of this video. But I may make a video about this in the future. I'm not terribly proficient with it, but it helped me make some money when I first got it. I've always been phenomenally bad at making money, so much so that I have a total of 103.3k gold to my name on my main server. When I got TSM, I managed to turn stuff I had as well as trade skill items into around 200k in a week or two. If you're willing to dedicate some time into it, it's very well worth it. TSM auctioning allows you to mass post auctions to the auction house, with predefined items and groups using prices that you can set yourself or set to be relative to different values such as market value and vendor value. Unlike Auctionator, you can sell items by exact name or by base name. Also unlike Auctionator though, items posted are done so in an automated process which requires configuration rather than just drag and drop. TSM AuctionDB and App Helper will manage prices for you and will cause the game to show the market value and minimum buyout of items in your inventory when you mouse over them. While you can use AuctionDB standalone and complete scans of the auction house yourself, I would strongly recommend using their official application to update your prices automatically. You can visit their site at the link in the description for how to set this up. Do know I'm not affiliated with them by any measure, and this is not an advertisement. Downloading and using the accounting module will keep track of all money you make and spend, as you can see by my rapidly declining quantity of gold here. I will note that I haven't been playing with the auction house too much for a good minute, so don't take my loss of gold as a representation of how effective the add-on is. Rather, an example of my reckless spending. Lastly, TSM Mailing is the last module I use, which is super useful. When you have this add-on installed, opening a mailbox will automatically switch you to a new tab labeled TSM Mailing. From here, the useful button exists for Open All Mail. In addition to that, there's 4 different buttons specifically for auction house items. One for money from sales, one for items from buys, one for items from auctions cancelled, and lastly, one for items from auction house expires. And there you have my list of 20 plus add-ons that I use regularly and would recommend, specifically ones that are expansion neutral. As said, I may cover Trade Skill Master more in depth in the future if that seems like something people want. Be sure to leave a comment. Remember that links to all the add-ons I featured in this video will be in the description down below. With that all being said, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and a comment letting me know what you think, whether or not I should go more in depth about TSM or what have you. I'm always looking forward to hearing your thoughts. If you like my content and would like to see more, be sure to get subscribed and to hit that little bell to turn on notifications so that you're notified of when I make new videos. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and I'll see you next time.